Hello, and welcome to Saving Circle, where we help millennial professionals feel confident about managing their money. I'm your host, Vineet Prasad, the founder of Savings Academy. On today's episode, we'll be talking about financial goal setting. If you've ever felt like you're lost around your finances or frustrated, oftentimes one underlying symptom is that you maybe didn't have clear goals for what you want around your finances, and therefore don't have a clear pathway to get there or even know whether you're on track. So I really like to start with when I'm working with folks, setting clear financial goals with them, and I wanted to share with you some best practices and tips for what I've seen work. So the first thing is I just wanted to, ask the question, what are financial goals? What does that mean? So financial goals, I think, can come in kind of two buckets. There's the more quantitative goals, like, for example, paying down a credit card, increasing your credit score, paying down student loans, building an emergency fund, saving for a home. Those are probably the most common ones, but they're also very valid and important qualitative goals, something like knowing where my money goes every month, feeling confident that I know what I'm doing with my finances. And both are equally important. We'll focus a bit more on the quantitative today, but when you do, write out your goals, I'd say getting all of those out is important. So the first tip I have for setting successful financial goals is to think big. So when you go through kind of the brainstorming exercise of what are my financial goals, I would really try to take a step back and ask yourself this question. Got this from someone named George Kinder, who really focuses around financial life planning, around what would you do if money was not an obstacle in your life? If you could do anything, if you had, practically unlimited amounts of money, what kind of lifestyle would you live? And then you can work backwards to see, okay, what are some of those components? If you say, for example, would want to live in a certain area, okay, well then what's, you can take that goal. I want to live in the mountains in Colorado. Okay, therefore I now know you can break that down to smaller pieces. I need to save up for a down payment. Maybe before that I'd want to pay off, my student loans, etc. But I'd start thinking really big so that you can get excited about your goals. Each individual piece here might not sound super exciting, paying off a loan, building up a certain amount of savings. But if you have a big vision you're working towards, that can be great. The other tip I have is to get aligned. If you're doing this with a partner, if you co-manage finances in any way with a partner, I would highly recommend doing it together. I've definitely seen a number of times where when we go through goal setting exercises, partners have totally different goals, or even sometimes didn't realize that another partner had a goal that was really important to them. So I'd say definitely do this together. If you're managing your finances with someone else, if you're doing it alone, just make sure you're really thoughtful about what you actually want. The next tip I have is to, once you get a list of goals, and I'd really recommend doing a brainstorming exercise, get as many as you can out there. Then among the quantitative goals, try to quantify and prioritize them. So what I mean there is figure out for those goals around, say, debt payoff, savings, try to come up with a target for yourself for where you want to be and understand where you are today, and write that down. You can write that down. If you don't like spreadsheets, you can just do a Word document or even write it down. I really like doing that in a spreadsheet. I think it's a really good format for financial goal setting. And then the next thing I would do once you've quantified these goals, prioritize them. This is really important. Because a lot of folks I work with have lots of financial goals. They want to save for a trip, they want to pay off, their loans, they want to save for a down payment, they want to, a number of things. I've had folks where I work with, we come up with 7 or 8 important financial goals. And the thing is, those can get very overwhelming. Those can kind of flow through in your head. And you can keep thinking about all the various goals you have. So I highly recommend actually ranking them, like what's number 1, 2, 3, 4 in terms of priority. And then from there, I'd say try to focus on one or 2 goals at a time maximum that you're building towards, so that you can make good progress towards those goals. So pick the number 1 and 2 priorities in your rankings and really focus on those. And the last piece that is the most important, once you've brainstormed, what's important to you around your finances, you're aligned with your partner, you've quantified and prioritized those goals. The last one is to make sure you revisit those goals. I really recommend, as you may have seen in some of my other shows, having a cadence where you review your finances. You go back and see kind of where your finances are versus where you wanted them to be. A monthly cadence is really good for that. So going and checking back on your goals monthly and seeing, hey, do these look about right? Most months you may say, okay, these still look right. I don't need to reprioritize them. Some months you might change things up, and always kind of understanding, okay, where's your progress towards these goals each month. So those are my main tips I have for today around financial goal setting. Try to make things as clear as possible for yourself so you can understand where you are, where you want to be, and how things are going. It really can make you feel more relaxed around the really stressful issues that surround money. So that's all for today. Thank you for checking out today's episode. And for more personal finance tips, you can always check out my website, savingsacademy.com. And if you found today's episode useful, I would greatly appreciate you leaving me a rating or review so more people can learn about the show. Until next time, keep saving, my friends. Keep saving.